Hi, my name's Hilary. I used to suffer from repetitive strain injury, which was pain in the hands and arms, apparently caused by excessive use of the computer. And I had that for 13 years, and I couldn't use the keyboard or mouse on the computer. I was completely dependent on voice recognition for about 10 years, the last 10 years when I had the repetitive strain injury. And then a few years ago, I read an article about somebody who got better from repetitive strain injury using John Sarno's book, The Mind-Body Prescription. So I decided to buy the book, and I read the book 2 or 3 times, but I didn't get better. I was still getting pain, so I gave up on it then. I was really enthusiastic about the book, but I decided that it wasn't working for me because I was still getting pain. But then it was about a year later, my plumber came round to do some work, and we were chatting away about all sorts of things. And then all of a sudden he said, I used to get terrible back pain. But then he said, but now that's all a thing of the past, thanks to, and then he couldn't remember the name of the book. And I said, was it? I immediately thought about John Sarno's book because he talks about back pain. And I said, was it John Sarno's book, The Mind-Body Prescription? And he said, yeah, that was it. As soon as I got to page 57, that was it. My back pain was cured completely. So he was really enthusiastic about it. And I joined in his enthusiasm, but I said, but it hadn't worked for me. But because he was so enthusiastic, it was kind of, his enthusiasm was quite infectious. So I thought, maybe I should try it again, give it another go. And at that time I was getting quite bad headaches at certain times of the month, and I was able to stave off the headaches by using vitamin pills, but I was having to use more and more of them, and I didn't always remember to take them because I'm very bad at remembering to take pills. So a couple of weeks later, it came to that time of the month, and I'd been forgetting to take the pills, so I thought, oh gosh, I'm in for a really bad headache this month. But then I thought about John Sarno's book, and I thought, no, I'm not going to get the headache. Then the next day I could feel the headache coming on, and I thought, oh gosh, here it comes. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to get this headache. And I thought again about the book and the principles in it. And then the headache went away, and I was so encouraged by that success. I thought, okay, great, I'm going to have a go at the RSI now, because that gave me a lot. Having that little success gave me a lot of confidence. So what I decided to do was just start typing little bits every day, and just slowly build up the typing bit by bit, and increase the amount that I was doing week by week. So I did that, but the first couple of months I really didn't notice any difference. I was trying to increase the typing, but I was getting little bits of pain with it. So because I hadn't got better after 2 months, in the book, Dr. Sarno says you should get psychotherapy if you don't see any progress. So I thought about that. But it was a bit hard to get my mind to accept that idea that I should have psychotherapy, because I consider myself to be a well-balanced person. I've not had any emotional traumas as a child. And there's a bit of stigma associated with it as well. But anyway, I decided to email Dr. Sarno and find out if there's any TMS trained psychotherapists over here. So I did that, and he replied, and he said there aren't, but if I could find a psychotherapist and lend them my book to read. But in the meantime, I'd contacted Harriet Young, the person who'd got better, whose article I'd read, and she gave me lots of encouragement, which was really helpful. And she also mentioned a book by Brandon Bayes called The Journey. Brandon Bayes is a non-medical person, but she got better. She recovered from a tumour by uncovering the emotional causes from that, and she developed a process to uncover hidden emotional causes that could be causing pain or other physical conditions. And there's lots of journey practitioners over here in the UK, so I was able to get an appointment to see one more or less straight away. So after my session with the journey therapist, it was still a couple of weeks. Next couple of weeks I still didn't notice any difference, but then after that I did start making small advances, and I did start noticing a difference. And then one day I made a small discovery, which was previously I'd been getting pain. The pain could come a few hours after the typing. It didn't necessarily come at the time of the typing. But now I made a discovery that I was actually getting a little bit of pain at the time of the typing, which was great because now I felt more in control. So if I felt the pain, I would stop typing for the rest of that day. And usually by the next day the pain would have gone because I'd still be thinking about the principles in Dr. Sarno's book and telling myself that the cause wasn't structural, that it was psychological. And so I felt much more confident and in control because if I knew the pain was coming at the time of typing, then I could stop. Whereas previously, the fact that the pain could come it could come hours later after the typing, that meant I was a bit scared to overdo the typing. So it was really effective in making me scared to do any typing. And then there came a time at work when I had to go on a one-day course, and it was going to be on a computer which didn't have voice recognition. So I could have arranged to have the voice recognition installed on that computer, but I decided not to. And so I did the course, and I did lots of typing and mousing up till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And by that time, my hands were a little bit sore and achy, but there were no worse after effects from that. And then a little time after that, we had to I was having memory problems on my PC, so we decided to take the voice recognition off the computer to see if that was what was causing the memory problems. So previously I wouldn't have agreed to that because there was no way I could manage without the voice recognition. But I agreed to that, so we removed it, and in the morning, by the afternoon, the results were inconclusive, so I decided to stay with the voice recognition off the computer. And then the next morning I rang the systems administrator to put it back on, but there was no reply from his phone, so I think he was off sick. So I thought about ringing his colleague, but didn't get around to it. His colleague actually rang me that afternoon, and I asked her to put the voice recognition back on. But that was like nearly 2 days of typing with no major pain, which was for me, that was a great advance. So after that I decided I wasn't going to use voice recognition until midday each day. And then by September, this was September 2005, I was down to using voice recognition just 1 hour a day. And then by October 2005, I completely stopped using the voice recognition. So I consider myself to be completely cured since that time. I've not used voice recognition since then. And up until last year, I was working still in the same computing job that I'd had before. I was just working 4 days a week, but I was doing lots of surfing on the internet at home, and I now have no fear that I'm able to do a full-time job using the computer, no restrictions. I consider myself to be completely cured from RSI now, so I definitely recommend Dr. Sarno's book to anybody, and I would say that if you don't get immediate results, do persist with it. See if you can get encouragement from other people, read the success stories on the wiki. These are all things which will encourage you and help you, which I think are very important. If you still don't get results, if you're able to see a TMS professional, do try and do that, or think about getting psychotherapy if you can find a psychotherapist who believes in the mind-body connection. And that's it.